Hey, I want to thank you so much for tuning into the Daily Dose for Spiritual Growth. Today is Tuesday. We're going to be diving into 2 Corinthians chapter 6. But before we dive in, I want you to think about a time when you were either in a athletic sport, either tennis or track or something like that, where you had to depend on somebody else, or it was a team or group project. And that other person or that group, the other people were not to your level, either in athleticism or in education. How did that make you feel doing the project? How did that make you feel running or playing the sport that you were playing? It probably slowed you down. It probably hindered you. You probably got extremely frustrated because of their lack of performance. The same is true when it comes to marriage. See, the Apostle Paul here is describing what he's going to describe here, what we'll be reading here in 2 Corinthians chapter 6 is not associating yourself, or don't be a partner with somebody that is unequally yoked. Just a couple weeks ago, I had the opportunity to go to Mount Vernon and visit George Washington's estate, and we toured his grounds. I got to see his gardens. I got to see some of the old ways of how they used to harvest things. And he actually had, George Washington didn't have this, but obviously the people working there had 2 ox, and then they were actually yoked together. And this person was describing the importance of being equally yoked, of having these 2 oxen. They're actually they were born within 2 weeks of each other. I mean, they looked identical. I mean, same size, same, like they looked the same. And he's saying it's crucial when you pick your 2 oxen to come together, that they have to be equal. Because not only when you have that, not only do these 2 oxen when they're partnered together, it's not just double the weight that they can, whether they're by themselves. They will just say this, they can pull 1,000 pounds. Not only if they're partnered together can they now just pull 2,000. They say that they can pull 3 or 4 times the amount by being partnered together of an equal weight and whatever it is. I don't know. I'm not a farmer, but anyways, the value of being equally yoked is of utmost importance when it comes to oxen and what they have to do. And it's no different when it comes to being in a covenant relationship like marriage. Let's get into 2 Corinthians chapter 6, starting at verse 14. Do not be yoked together with unbelievers. For what do righteousness and wickedness have in common? Or what fellowship can light have with darkness? Now, what Paul is not saying, he's not saying that we should not associate ourselves with unbelievers. We should absolutely be in fellowship with unbelievers. We should have friends. We should hang out with people who don't have the same values, the same morals, the same belief system that maybe you have with your personal relationship with God through Jesus Christ. We talked about that yesterday with this ministry of reconciliation in the second half of chapter 5. God has entrusted to us this ministry because we've been saved by grace through faith. Now let's share that good news with other people. How could we share that if we don't associate ourselves with unbelievers? So he's not saying that we need to be associated with and have fellowship and friendships with people who don't believe. However, what he is saying is that you cannot have that when it comes to this covenant partnership of marriage. See, just a couple weeks ago, here at the church, we saw the movie Jesus Revolution, and it was the younger couple. They were dating at the time, ending high school, and they wanted to get married. And the boy, he said it, the teenager, he said it first, and then she said it at the end of the movie. And they both communicated to each other, and this is crucial. They both communicated to each other, and they said, "Hey, if you get in the way of my relationship with God, then we're through." But that might seem like so brash, like, whoa, like, shouldn't they like love each other and like they should be the number one? No, actually, then they got it right. What the movie got it right, the writers got it right, because that's actually what God has, what he encourages us to do is to love him first. Because when we choose to love him first, that's how we can actually love others. That's how we can be in a covenant partnership, that we can love sacrificially, because on our own, we wouldn't do that. On our own, we're going to think selfishly. On our own, we're going to think, how can I gratify myself? On my own, I'm going to think about myself, me, myself, and I. However, when I spend time with God, when He is my first and foremost, when He is my priority, I'm naturally looking at my wife now and saying, how can I serve her? How can I build her up? How can have my interest be more aligned with hers, or consider her interest more than mine? I can only do that with my pursuit and my priority being God first, and then my wife after that. And that's what God is communicating to us right here. He's saying, how can we have light and darkness associate with each other? See, because when light comes to the darkness, darkness flees. And when we try to blend them together, that's when things get confusing. When we try to blend them together, that's probably when the frustration comes, just like how you had that frustration when you thought about that time when I asked the question earlier. Think about a time when you were partnered with somebody and you were clearly superior than them, and it frustrated you. You were disappointed. You probably lost, or you didn't get the grade that you should have gotten. See, that's the same thing that happens when we choose to partner ourselves with somebody that is not equally yoked. And so let's choose not to do that. If you have that opportunity to choose somebody who is passionately pursuing God first and foremost. And if you have kids, if you have grandkids, if you have friends who are looking to get married, who are dating, give them that advice right now. Call them up, sit them down over a cup of coffee and talk about that, and give them this advice, because who you choose to marry, who you choose to be in this covenant relationship with matters. I think it's actually the second most important decision that you'll ever make. First decision, and the most important decision, is choosing Christ first. Second is who you choose to marry. So if you don't have the opportunity to choose because you already have that partnership, pray for the others and choose to give this advice to other people. Hey, I want to thank you so much for tuning in. I should tune in tomorrow for the Daily Dose for Spiritual Growth.